All right, so when you talk about what a cornucopia is, it's a plethora of things gathered together tastefully. And what a totem pole is, a plethora of things stacked tastefully. Over here, we have what would ostensibly be a plethora of balloons, and it's in a totem. This is what monoliths are. So anything that's monolithic is a verticality. We were just talking what hinges are, and a drawbridge is a vertical hinge. A person can makeshift one as themselves. Um, I guess, yeah, we've got, that's an awesome balloon totem, whoever made it. All right, that's an awesome. A lot of things in life, if you look at it in the past with stuff that you've already known to be a pleasure experience or suffered from, it's nothing to hold a gripe against, because you're in life, granted, nothing's going to be hard enough to make you not have something you can't overachieve. And that's really hard to say. I can only speak for myself, and that I know that other people have not overachieved a obstacle and actually chose to bypass the stance of being part of us today in this day and age. It's hard to note that when you're asking someone in a convenience store, where's the closest one? But then asking what a convenience store is, the only place to find one is across town, and someone gets triggered who has a shirt that says Nuke Nation. And then a female walks up, this guy who was wearing Nuke Nation. She said the only way to find it, she clarified, the guy with Nuke Nation didn't have an answer. The only place to find a convenience store is on the other side of town. And not for nothing, but the guy got triggered in saying that there was not, he didn't have an answer, first off. So second off, they were in a quarrel as I'm leaving, as I'm saying thank you for giving an answer. And so this quarrel would be, of course, because he was at odds with himself for not having an answer, and that she did, and I was thanking her. There's no other way to cut this. Sue? That's not Sue. So despite that fact, within correlation of being in odds with yourself, shot this cardinal real quick. They're hard to capture. He just ducked and flew out. All right. Yeah. So we're going to take that with a grain of salt, because not every place will have a convenience store if it's a historic place. And the Strawberry Festival is kicking off, and it's like where everyone comes. It's such a big turnout. When there's really big turnouts and events, it's the day before. This is the day before a huge one. So some people are super friendly, some people actually not. So it is what it is, but it's nothing to get short-sighted in losing confidence with a simple question and an answer, even if someone has it better than you. Even if. Okay, yeah, I just didn't know you could eat mica. So this stuff's all. Look at how much of this is. Oh my gosh. So this was cookie store. I wanted to see if they have any cookies without eggs in it, because I can't. And so the first thing that stumbled across, I couldn't believe. I couldn't believe this. Where I'm at in life, there's germophobia. There's people who have like bacteria and they smell, and so if they is in a closed room and it's affecting you, that's a big deal. And then just all these other things that, if they're infringements. Oh, what's up, dude? But mother F me, right? This is the United States, and if you have ever a problem with getting doxxed by a landlord, or whether it be a person of your guidance who is supporting you. It's almost as if this thing, and I was asking others than side notes from germophobia, is if you are of a person who has speaking on people who are different than you, this might be what it is to be known as what is acclaimed as hateful. And if you're inciting hate, you're known as a term. And so I've never known someone who was actually that. I asked a person, he said, yeah, I've known people who are actually qualified as that. It's losing your marbles and you want to hurt someone because you don't like them, that they're different. And then you have the audacity to say something that would be worse than hurting someone. I had a female who said she knew me so well that she would know what to say that would hurt me indefinitely. And the way that she said it, her delivery, was that it would hurt me more than a physical altercation. But I couldn't figure out what it was, and she never used it, despite the fact that she thought I was using her. Notably so, the band The Used is in Milwaukee, and on the 23rd in 2 days. And the band My Chemical Romance was in Milwaukee. I never went, and they broke up. So The Used, I'm not going to be able to see them a decade later. And when things are used up, it's just that they never come back if they're put off the shelf. And you can bet your buttons My Chemical Romance and Gerard Way, he never went on to make a solo career. And within the case of Wednesday 13, he went on and he still has a solo career and he's still going and he probably will continue. When there's vocal arrangements, there's artists who have solo careers and they understand what it means to be able to continue with their voice, and they usually put it in a baritone as opposed to starting with the sax alto. Kamijo is one artist in Japan that went to a alto sax high pitch to a baritone, and he now still has a solo career. He continued it because in a later age, it's a difference from you having a high pitch when you're a kid. If you have a high pitch, if you're a vocal artist, the vocal arrangement when it gets lower in baritone, you can have a lengthier career. And if you think this is a rant, you're right, it is. And it's that longevity is from baritone. Put some bass in your voice, right? All right, so I just got driven out on a crotch rocket, which was a smaller one. And these guys who have crotch rockets, they're like bigger ones. So like the person is staying with like their mom. And if you stay with a mom and you're on a crotch rocket, look at this stuff. Is it for free? It says for free, you know. And so I don't want to take any of this for free. She said that you can't ride on a motorcycle or be in here, and we're gonna go to like the basement and do something funny or fun. I'd throw this, but you know, not for nothing. My bike is broken, and so she's like, there's the whole thing with parents. They said that I'll call like the cops and stuff. You know, this was the rudest introduction I've ever had. And so I left because she said her son has a mental problem. And so if you're going to square one, square two, this is the second day in a row where the person said that I'll call the cops. The first time was at an Asian massage. And she didn't speak English, so she showed me her phone, how it said the next appointment's in 2 hours. But I wanted to speak to someone to confirm this in English, because I was in the back alley, the bathroom of a Chinese restaurant, and then a door was open. It had like a laundry machine and a girl sitting in it who looked like it was straight out of The Grudge. So I talked to her, shooting the SHIT, and she was part of the Asian massage. She said she traveled I wanted her to come and like confirm that like the next appointment was in 2 hours because I was ready to step in because there's no one getting an Asian massage. And so the main point in the case is that she called up like her boss and he's like, I see you on your camera, as if that's gonna trigger me. I'm on camera every day. And so I was like kind of excited because I had just asked someone to put me on their hands on my camera so I don't have to hold it as a cameraman. And then slowly but surely, the guy on the phone talking to me, he said like, I'll call the cops if you don't leave. I'm like, all right, I'm leaving, but not for nothing. I wanted to get a massage for an hour. And he's like, come back in 2 hours. So I left. But nevertheless, the case was just what happened. I got driven to a town aside from mine. And now, side note, I have to walk back to the town that I grew up in, Grafton. I don't like saying where I grew up in on camera, but it is what it is. And now I'm on my way on foot all the way back to Grafton, despite the fact being driven on a miniature crotch rocket to a town aside from Grafton, Cedarburg. It's gonna be a hike, and it's just because I saw this guy who I knew like from a year ago, and we're gonna make like a band and a show and a rap group. And then I couldn't like hang out with him in the basement because his mom said she wanted to call the cops after introducing me to her inside the house. So that went well. Phone number.
Well, for you, 50% off.
What's your phone? Just say it out loud. I'm recording shit.
609-222-3724.
All right, that's just for me.